Well, we're live. Hello, Glenn.
Hi Rex, how are you doing?
Great. You see the sky over here? He was just a few years over 30 when we started, but he must have been, we got the times mixed up and he was like, waiting in the back room forever and it kind of aged him out. But I assure you, he's not any older than 105.
Around
All the
about
way
that.
from the UK.
I'll tell you what.
Wonderful
I'll tell you what,
writer
man.
Glenn B. and illustrator Glenn B. Fleming, once again, writer and artist, and etc. That dot 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 really means a lot. Explorer, uh,
Explore.
daredevil, almost falls off cliffs.
Yep.
Wonderful encyclopedia of knowledge in so many different ways. I know our interview has to be cut short because he didn't realize I was on Central Time. He thought I was on Eastern Time.
Yeah. Never
But
mind. We can
I'm
always
just
do
going
it
to
again.
turn it over to you, Glenn, for a little bit and let you, get in as much as you can with the time that you have. We were going to talk about your wonderful character, Hatch,
Yeah.
who's the only character. I did have a suggestion for you because I have thought about that. That's an interesting concept you have. Hatch is in his own world and he's the only being in his own world.
Yeah.
But now, has that been the world that he's been in all the time? And has he experienced other things so that he, at least in his own thoughts, have, because I was thinking, well, you could do a dream sequence. Maybe you've thought of this, of course, where he's with someone else. I don't know. And that may not be something you're interested in doing with your character.
I'm trying to keep away from all that
Yeah.
because he. It started out. I got the concept of Hatch back in the late '80s, and I've been drawing his adventures since then in strips and comics and things like that. But the concept is that he is totally alone on his little asteroid.
Mm-hmm.
He never meets anybody. He's never has met anybody. He doesn't even speak. The only
Right.
the only the only words in the book are sound effects because he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't speak. He doesn't feel a need to speak. He doesn't need to. He hasn't. He's never come across anybody else. And the main thing about it is that he's just bewildered all the time because these strange things happen to him, and he doesn't understand. Like in book 2, which is going to be launched soon, he goes in. There's a pyramid appears. He finds a pyramid on little his little asteroid, and he goes into it, and that's what it's about. But basically, it's just the odd things that happen to him. Like he'll be sitting there eating a sandwich, and horses will run by, and he doesn't know what they are, and he never sees them again, and they never come back. It's just a really strange little guy.
So it's kind of experiencing the world through a
Well, is it?
child's eyes for the very first time in
Yeah, you
some
could.
respects.
Yeah, you could say that. He does touch on our world, but he's not of it. Things happen, um, and it's a comedy. Really, it's just funny. I'll show you this. I'll show that. I told you today I was colouring. This isn't. This is for the next book after the one, and here he is.
Well, now last time you were on, you do all of it, right? You draw, you ink, you color.
Yeah, I do everything. I letter it. I
Um,
do the lot.
Now last time you were on, you showed that pyramid piece, and you were talking about flipping it from how you had drawn it upside down, and
Yeah,
it made more sense. And I agreed with you. I think there was a UFO, right?
yeah.
Okay, so a UFO would denote that perhaps that's new beings, but I guess he never gets to see the aliens, huh?
He never gets to see anybody. Anybody, no.
Yeah,
It's just all these strange things happen to him.
yeah.
I show you some of the there's a page with some lettering on that I did.
Wow. Oh, yeah. I love your hand lettering. Yeah.
You can see his
Mhm.
rib cage. You see,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's kind of, oh, yeah.
that's when the pyramid appears, and
Okay.
it's just he encounters things, but he doesn't encounter. He doesn't sort of have them face to face because with the I've been sending out this. You'll get one of these
Okay.
swamp
Swamp gas.
gas things,
Yeah.
and what it is,
That's
it's
cool.
basically he finds
So,
that.
so are these now you have panels there, but
Yeah,
wait a minute. So, yeah, I see that. Okay, so some you do like in splash page form,
Yeah,
and then some you do panel form.
yeah,
But
yeah.
okay, so and I know you work on a certain illustration board, right?
Yeah, Dale Rowney, fine art, fine press, high press art board. It's beautiful stuff for me, because this is a piece of it. There it is.
Yeah. Okay.
That's watercolor hot press, and it's just, I use colored ink. This isn't finished yet, but this
Okay,
is,
that's right. You work in ink, not
yeah.
yeah.
I
Uh-huh.
pencil it, I ink it, and then I use colored ink on it,
Uh-huh.
because they're transparent as opposed to
Now, do you use a
opaque.
brush?
Yeah, I use brushes, sponges. I use my fingers. I use lots of things.
Splatter? I mean,
Uh,
if you have to,
I
like a maybe a toothbrush, a used toothbrush or something. I know some people do that.
Some people do that for star fields, but I do mine individually with this. I can't find it, but it's just a simple pen like that. It's just got a blob. It's just a white pen, and I do every star.
Against a black field.
I'll show you.
There's a real art to that. Stars are hard to me, you know,
Yeah, I'll show you. There's his
and make it
asteroid.
look good.
That's
Yeah.
where he lives. You can see him there. Can you see him sitting on
And
the
that's
edge?
all ink, right? He's on the edge there.
And
And I guess that's the pyramid in the background.
yep, there's the stars. So
not that it's really important, but I suppose to a certain degree, how large is the asteroid?
well, that's the cartoon thing. It can be as big as a planet. It depends
Right.
it depends what the encounter that he's having. So it's endless. It's like the TARDIS. It just doesn't end. Depends
there you go.
It depends what's happening in the
Now, if
story.
you condense down all your hatch work, how big a volume would it be? Would it be multiple volumes? What?
Yeah, well, I'll show you when I get this campaign up. I'm going to offer.
That's right. You're going to put it on Indiegogo.
Yeah, I've got literally thousands of drawings, and I've got little books like this.
Oh, that's wonderful. I like the size too.
And this is just full.
Is that sketches?
Yeah, just full of sketches.
Oh, wow.
This is 50 pages.
Right. There's a book right there.
Yeah, and I've also.
I mean, if it really takes off, wow, you could just I don't know how you'd reproduce that. I guess you scan, you know.
I thought these couldn't be used as strips, but these are just sort of me just doodling.
Yeah,
but just.
I mean, you know, Glenn, people love that behind the scenes thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to put these up to be bought.
Oh wow!
And I've got a really nice one here, a really big one.
One of a kind, 50 pages sketchbook. And that's a larger one.
Just all.
That's an awesome idea to do.
Yeah, and just full of just doodles and sketches on it.
Yeah, I know. Hey TJ, I realize a work in progress. Yeah.
So, and I've also got a load of original artwork from the first book. Lots. I can't really show you, but lots of artwork.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see it? Lots of artwork.
Yeah.
Just tons of it.
Now, do you enjoy doing the sound effects and lettering?
Oh yeah, I enjoy doing it. That's why I do it. That's why I do it with a pencil and a brush, because I like drawing. I'm not saying that people can't do their work on the computers, because I know they do.
And your letters are more visual, you know. I mean, they're.
Well, I've got. I used to publish some comics in the 80s, write and draw them, and I used to do all the hand lettering with it. You know, I had a line of comics out, and I used the trusty old.
What was your company name, Glenn?
Aimsley. It was Idiom Ink.
I have that. The old letterer.
Yep.
Yep, I have that. I have a couple of those somewhere. Yep.
Never
used it, but I have them.
I like different disciplines.
Yeah.
I understand why people would want to use a computer. I fully understand that. and they tell me about the erase, the delete erase tool or whatever. Well, I just try and discipline myself to get that line right the first time. I don't,
Yeah.
but if you've got a million chances of doing something, you're never going to do it.
Yeah.
And that's what I like to discipline myself.
I like the
to,
challenge too.
yeah,
Like you're talking about. Yeah.
And I just do everything with a simple pencil. That's just a simple pencil.
Mm-hmm.
I use brushes and pens and little.
Do you use on that board? Do you use a soft lead or is it a hard lead? What do you use?
What it is, I started using a soft 2B pencil,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't when you've inked it and you want to rub out the lines, you can't erase it too good. So I use this. Yeah. So this is an HB pencil. This is quite,
so you use HP.
This is
and
quite,
it doesn't make an
hard.
impression on the, even though it's hard, it doesn't make a groove or an impression on that.
That depends on you, doesn't it? That depends on the artist.
How much you push down. Yeah.
I do very light pencil work.
Okay.
I like I said, I try to get it down as quickly as I can, but I want to get it right, and I don't do that all the time.
Is it the concept before the concept leaves you, or you're just
no? It's just, that's you see. I say to people that the furthest distance in the universe is from your brain to your hand,
mm-hmm.
and you've got something in your head. It's the furthest. It's the longest way down to your hand to get it on the paper.
Yeah.
That's the discipline. You've got to keep at it. You've got to keep doing that line. You've got to keep practicing. You've got to keep.
Right.
But if you've got a million chances to do something, you'll never do it.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I found out that if you're waiting around for inspiration, you're wasting your time.
Yeah. That's right.
You learn by doing.
Yes.
And that's whether you're a carpenter driving a nail or you're an artist penciling something.
Yeah.
Drawing
you have to. I'm not saying I get it right first time every time. I'm not saying I get it right third time every time, because I don't. Mm. But it's a discipline. It's a discipline for me. I like to work that way, because when I do work, I've got this book here, Hatch Layouts, and it's got all the stories I've got lined up. I can't show you really. It's got all the stories, all the stories are all mapped out, and in these I have the rough thumbnails that I do, which I'm also going to offer, because they're no good to me if people are going to be buying my artwork.
That's awesome. Yeah, Doc Blaylock better start saving up now, because I know he adores Hatch.
But my roughs are just as simple as that.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Now, see this one here. That's his hatch, and that's an aircraft.
Right. So you storyboard it out. You just thumbnail it out.
Yeah, and this is the finished.
And that would be one page, right? Multiple panel page.
That's the finished artwork for that.
Wow.
Aircraft flying over.
But still very simple in design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to offer those. Here's some samples of my lettering.
Hey, Lemon Pie, welcome back. Aerial Phenomenon 10 chart. Is it 10 chart?
ID.
Or ID chart. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So it's just, and I just do lots of roughs, working it out. These are just, and these are going to be on the campaign. I think I'm going to offer, like that.
So you're going to do some house clearing for the first time, huh?
Yeah. See that one there with the boom?
Yeah. Let me blow this up here.
That one. That is the rough. Let me just show you. Just keep there. That's the rough for this ashcan page. So there's the rough, and there's the page. Oops, can you see it?
Yeah. Come over. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's
TJ says that's what happens when my puppets. When a face comes into my mind, I have to make it then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Immediately. Yeah. I mean, you strike when you have inspiration, right?
Yeah. There's another rough.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
just and obviously because I'm doing it, I don't need to put all these roughs are to me are just reminders. When I get an idea, I do a quick rough, and I don't need the detail because I can see, it's not
Right.
like if I was giving it to you, I'd have to put more detail in and explain, but I don't have to explain it to myself, So I'm going to offer pages, and I'm going to offer the rough for that page as well.
Oh yeah, that's brilliant. Yep.
And these see, this is how we started out in a strip. These are from 1987.
Oh wow, yeah.
Just
So
strips.
So just to ask you again, if you
Yeah.
were to put all this together,
Yeah.
how much would it be? I mean,
How
many
high?
books? Huh?
Well,
Or I mean, would it be like this much? Or
yeah,
this
I've
much?
got
Or
probably about that much.
wow.
I've got thousands of drawings, literally thousands of drawings of him.
Yeah. But now, I mean, what's been published of Hatch? Just a portion of that?
Yeah. It's been published in a couple of magazines a while back, and
Okay.
I'm not with him all the time, but
Right.
recently, these past few years, I've been really trying to push him. This is currently out on Amazon.
Very nice.
That's the book one.
The next day? Hatch the next day?
The next day it's called, because of what happens to him.
What's that say there? Special limited edition or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Now this
And what's the other credit there? I see your name on there. Who is okay, Helen. Now what does she do besides be your support system?
What she does is
the air that you breathe.
Yeah, she comes up with the best ideas, let's put it that way.
Okay.
And she's currently making a ceramic hatch that's going to go on Indiegogo as well.
Yeah, she works in ceramics.
A figurine is going to be about 9 inches tall.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
So Doc better get saving up.
Now before you have to leave, and try and give me 5 minutes here. I mean, 5-minute warning. If you don't,
I've got another.
Yeah. You had another, and I don't know if you have it there. If you don't, fine. You had an Indiegogo before. Was that your first Indiegogo about Jack Kirby?
That was my first Indiegogo. Yeah, I used to go on Kickstarter, but I wasn't very successful there, so I had to change.
Yeah. And why do you not think that you were successful on Kickstarter?
I think that it was because I wasn't really sure what I was doing. I wanted too much money to come back. I wanted. I just didn't know how to do it. I did it all wrong. I did the voices on the films, and I sound like I want to be shot. So I get Helen to do it because she has more of an upbeat voice.
So with that said, were you more pleased with the Indiegogo, the way it wound up?
Yeah, because it worked.
Yeah.
It's a hardback book. 200 odd. I think it's 124 pages. It's full of photographs, and it's about my visits to Jack Kirby in his house.
Yeah. And, now, how old were you then?
I was 33.
33. Wow. I can tell you where I was when I was 33. I was working with the homeless at a homeless shelter. Yeah.
So I went to his house a couple of times and met his beautiful wife Roz. And
yeah. And how was Kirby at that time?
How old?
Because this was just a few years before he passed away.
Yeah,
right?
He when I first went, he was 71, and then he was 74 when I went again, and then he died 2.5 years later. So
he died at age 76. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's far too young by today's standards, isn't it?
By any standards. And with the book, you also get a DVD of me speaking with him in his studio for about 45 minutes.
Yeah,
that's worth the admission price alone.
Yeah, well, what is the region on that? Region 2?
No, it's this one's PAL for Europe, but it's an NTSC region. Whatever that is.
Okay. Well, I am a multi-regional player, but a lot of people don't know That there's 6 different
Yeah.
reasons,
Well,
regions around the world.
I produce PAL for Britain and Europe, and NTSC for the Americas, Australia, and the Far East. So anybody can see it.
Yeah.
But generally, you know, I know computers do have a multi-region, but that doesn't mean that I know who has. So yeah, I took it upon myself to
Now, how did you
produce.
get those made? There's just a company that does that.
Yeah, a company in the UK that does it,
Mm.
and they produce them for me. So
Hell, Shadowhawk. There's my co-host right there. He's probably still working. It's early.
but yeah, I'm planning to launch it as soon as I can, because the artwork for it it's been ready for months. It's been ready since Christmas.
Yeah.
But then I did a revamp on the Kirby book. And
How close is she to having the figurine done?
She should be doing it in the next couple of weeks, so I'll be showing. I'm hoping to put that on the page.
Now, is she with a group, or does she have her own little kiln and wheel?
Oh, little. She's got 2 as big as a shower area.
Oh,
She's got
well,
2.
if there's anything I know about, it's showers.
Yeah, she's got 2 about the size of that. 2 the size of that.
I'm sorry, Glenn, I had to.
It's all right.
Because
yeah,
that's what, out of all these wonderful collectibles, I even have one of my paintings that I did in college right there.
Right.
Which was color theory. And nobody's remarked about it. Oh, what's that?
Well,
they always want to know about the shower. Fascination with shower. I don't know.
So yeah, she's got a couple of kilns going, and she's working on
strange juxtaposition of things, I guess.
Yeah.
Now you have to go pick up your lovely wife here in a minute.
No. I've got another half an hour at least.
Another half hour. Okay.
Yeah,
well, tempt me then. That's fine. Just give me a 5-minute warning or something.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I need to go at 5 minutes to the hour.
Okay.
So it's 23 past now. Okay. So we've got a half an hour.
Okay, great. So she's went back to school?
No, she teaches.
She teaches. Okay.
Yeah, she teaches. What do you call it? Not school, but teaches us. We go. We would go night classes, but she works in the day and night classes, but they're private classes.
Oh, okay.
Not through a school.
Okay. And what does she teach?
Ceramics.
Oh, okay. Ceramics.
Yeah.
How long has she been into ceramics?
Since I've known her, since she was 16, 50 years.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah. What is it, if I were to ask her what her fascination with ceramic is? It just that tactile use,
Yeah, she
with your hands?
As she would put it, clay has a memory. She likes the fact that it remembers. Mm-hmm. When she works on something and she doesn't like it and she squashes it all up again, it's more difficult to make the new thing because it remembers where it was. You'd have to talk to her about it. I keep telling her to come on these things, but she won't.
Now now she glazes, right, her own stuff and fires it.
Yeah,
she does. So she has a little oven to fire with, the kilns, two of them.
She's got 2, yeah.
Yeah. Now I've done some work. Actually, it was I took a private class under a friend of a friend, and that's kind of how I met him, or got to know him a little bit better. I did some glass painting, and he put it on the bottom of the kiln, and he was so upset because the very first piece I did, it was on the bottom, and those kiln, the insulation, the inside heat insulation has a symbol like a watermark, and he set it on that, and then he printed it on the back of my glass. Actually, I thought it enhanced the piece, but
what Helen does, and what anybody who's loading the kiln should do, is she has these little sort of sprockets, and she rests things on it so it doesn't do that. So if you've got a kiln, you should know that.
Yeah, really. Yeah, he should have known that.
Of course he should.
Hey, Ice Queen. Hey, Blue Harvest. Of course, both those are UKers.
So yeah, I've got all these hatch pages I want to get not rid of, but I don't want to get rid of anything. But I just think, well, I'll let somebody else enjoy them, and they're just in folders around and in drawers and shelves, and
Yeah.
hopefully someone might buy one and want to hang it on their wall and all this kind of thing. I don't know, but
Yeah.
that's the plan. And they just a minute, I'm just.
Well, I'm not sure that anybody's done that. I love those hardbound volume sketchbooks that you can do, and you filled them all up. I don't know what the page count is on those, but that's substantial.
There's 50 in each book.
Okay, so do you do front and back on those?
Yeah.
Okay, so really they're getting 100 plus drawings easy.
Yeah.
And
sometimes 3 or 4 drawings a page.
Any idea what you would want for a volume like that?
I don't know.
All original artwork.
It's all original artwork. This is the thing, you see. This is the problem. They're not going to be cheap. Let's put it that way.
Well, there's only one in the world, right? You're buying a one of a kind item.
And if you've got this, say this one here. I mean, look, you've got all those drawings on one page.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you've got this is 50 pages, and it's mostly full,
of unpublished
it's very rough,
artwork.
Just
unpublished artwork.
Yeah, it's all unpublished, and it's all just I do this
back up again. Let me, because some people haven't seen your character Hatch. There's Hatch. Is he an alter ego for you?
Well, people have said that. Yeah, they say it's me.
Yeah.
So they might be right.
Lemon Pie. I don't know if that's directed to you. How was your video game set? Well, she's asking Ice Queen. That sort of thing is priceless. TJ says.
Yeah.
Now, what is that, Glenn?
That's his hatch. That's where he lives.
Oh, that's his hatch. Because he lives in the asteroid.
Yeah. Let me just show you. You can. There's his hatch with the lid open.
Okay.
And the thing is, you see, he lives down there, but we never go down there.
Is that color ink as well?
No, this is just colored crayon.
Pencils?
Color pencils, yeah.
Yeah.
I do these when Helen's making the dinner. I'm sketching and getting ideas and picking her brains because she comes up with the best idea.
Right.
And we work it out together. Then I go away and produce it. But so I've got to put her name on it. I've got to give her a credit because she deserves it.
Well, what do you want to tell us about Hatch today?
Well,
what did you really want to get out about Hatch? Because this was your suggestion. Let's talk about Hatch. Now, It's not just because this sounds like a passion project for you for, many years. You said you came up with Hatch in what year?
1987.
1987. And how was that? How did you come up with that character?
At the time, I was working. I spent most of my career working in graphics. I was studio manager for a few places. I had my own business and all this kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I like I said to you about the discipline thing. When I was working, I worked for myself for about 10 years and did okay, made a bit of money in those 10 years. That was the best 10 years of my career. And I like a different job on my desk every day. So one day I'll be drawing a cartoon. One day I'll be illustrating a children's book. The next day I'll be designing a brochure or a magazine. The next day I'll be doing a photo shoot. The next day I'll be writing copy, text.
TJ wants to know tiny, medium, human size, or bigger. If
he was standing next to you and he was really probably be up to your waist. So he's 3 feet high, 4 feet high.
Maybe smaller than a hobbit.
Yeah, but much better than a hobbit.
Much better than a hobbit, right? Yeah, no hair on his feet.
Hobbits are just hobbits. Yeah.
Do we get to see the interior of what's underneath the hatch?
No.
So that's a total mystery.
Yeah, unless I decide to go in there, which at the moment I'm not doing. That's the mystery. Because what he does, he takes things back in with him.
Yeah.
and you just like it on
That's
this,
neat. So he
you know,
kind of collects things.
yeah, and
Yeah.
he's like,
I wonder who else here might collect things. Hmm. Look around. Look at that studio. Would you
that's only
say you've
half of it.
always been a collector,
Yeah,
Glenn?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've read about 700 books in my life, and I probably got most of them up in the archive. And this is my studio. This isn't the archive, you know. Um,
He said,
so
"Oh, I was thinking tiny. Wow." Or she says
well,
that.
it's all relative, isn't it?
Kind
There's
of like a
nothing
wobbly,
a wom-
wombly,
a womble,
a womble. Now that's a
small,
UK
small,
thing.
smaller than a womble, a lot smaller than a womble. Yeah, wombles are
Okay.
like hobbits, sort of type of things. Um, it's I'm working. I'm also. I should say this. I'm also working on an animated feature of him.
Mm.
So
It looks
you'll get
like
to
you could do a flip book of him very easily.
easily,
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why I've not put it out yet, because I'm still wondering whether to put the first issue at the back of it or to offer a double. Because on this one, on I've got about 10 left of this printed one.
Uh-huh.
And the one on Amazon it's the same interior, the same book, but it's not
Right.
the original printing of the book. So I'm
Right.
going to offer those up as well.
And what's the page count on that book right
This
there?
this is 32 pages, full color.
32 pages.
Yeah,
Now on your Indiegogo, a lot of people say since you're charging a premium, they say 48 pages minimum. What do you
right.
think? Are you going to try and shoot for 48, or is it going to be more like that, a 32 pager? Or
No, I will tell you exactly. Let me just open it up here, and I will tell you exactly what it's going to
are you
be.
working on the campaign right now to get it
No.
up?
Oh, yes. I am
Slowly
working
but
on
surely
campaign.
piecing it together.
I'm working on lots of things like I always do. Let me just
Right.
open
Are
this.
you a
It's
good multitasker?
yeah,
Would you say
40. It's 44 pages at the moment, and there's going to be a couple of things. Yeah, this is what I'm saying
44
to you.
pages?
I
Yeah.
like a different discipline in the day, and
Yeah.
um,
I would go 48 minimum.
right, okay,
Even if it had to be like not story wise, but you could put like backups,
yeah,
sketches,
I'll
or
do that. Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
One thing that I'm going to do with my campaign is have a character printed, and then over that, it's going to be a thank you with everybody's name, on the
Right,
inside back cover,
right.
because they're producers of your book.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm working on a few things to.
Is the gentleman Scottish? No, he's British.
I'm
I,
English.
thank you for thinking that I was Scottish.
I'm English. I'm
But
British. I'm British like you're American and then North American.
yeah,
Understand what I mean?
uh-huh,
I'm English.
yeah. So, one of the things that fascinated me, of course, I was one of those kids that first experienced at like 3.5, 3, Sesame Street on TV. Of
Right.
course, a young Mr. Rogers and Romper Room and other things like that. But when Sesame Street came out in 1969, when dinosaurs ruled the earth, Glenn,
Yeah, I remember.
the puppets are fascinating. Of course, you learn, right? Counting and colors and shapes and all kinds of things, how to interact with people. That's all kind of lost on the educational system today, it seems
Yeah,
like. And unfortunately, they're through our public television, they kind of went woke with some of their message, which really
yeah,
is disturbing to me because
yeah.
it used to be a really wholesome show. But now, when it came out, they came out that first year with 1969. They came out with a double vinyl record album. The next year in 1970, they came out with a single album. Never had that one. Um, a friend of mine had it. I didn't even know it existed till about the 80s. But now the double album I had. And one thing was Oscar lived in the garbage can, remember?
Yeah,
And his original color was not green as he is today and has been since 1970, really. He started out as deep orange.
I was going to say red. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was orange there for about a year.
Hmm.
Um, and on the album, the double album, he's depicted as orange, you know. So there's proof positive he used to be a different color. But now in there, the reason I'm taking up so much time to say this, it showed his underground, and eventually they did take you in
Right.
there and show you on the show his underground room, his underground where he lived, you know,
Yeah.
and what was in there and everything. And that was
Well,
always interesting to me as a kid to be able to, one of my favorite places, and you didn't go there very often, you know.
well, you never say never, but I doubt I'll show that
Yeah.
because you just need some kind of mystique, I think. And if everything, you
Yeah.
see, this is the problem with today. Everything has to be explained,
Yeah. Yeah.
and especially with the comics, they have to explain why. Like in the film, they have to explain why Magneto's angry because he was in a concentration camp. Well, that I can see
Yeah.
that. I can see why that would make you angry if you got out, but it doesn't make everybody a murderer, does it? So we don't need to know. Like with the Joker, I've not seen the full film, but it seems on the bits I've seen of the Joker with the Joaquin Phoenix in, it
Hmm.
seems to me like they're trying to make him a sympathetic person. They're trying
Yeah.
to make you understand why he's bad. Why can't he just be bad?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because people are just bad, aren't they? I don't believe
Yeah.
you can do bad things. We all do bad things, but maybe not horrible things.
Right.
But I think that people like Hitler and people like that, I think they're born evil. I don't. I'll give you an example. Over here, we had a horrible murder thing back in the 60s. Myra Hindley and Ian Brady. I don't know whether you've heard of them. They kill children. They abducted and kill children. It's still a big thing over here, even though both of them are dead uh, from prison now. But Myra, you get all these people coming on saying, "Oh, she was brought up badly, and this and this," but
Right.
her sister didn't do that, and she was brought up at the same time and the same environment.
Well, that in a trial, really, that's for the defense to bring up, and unfortunately, you know, a lot of it. Well, it's
Well, she got life in
symp-
prison anyway, so
sympathetic, you know. Yeah,
I'm not saying
but
you should be
I
simple.
think in some cases that they should be summarily executed, you know, instead of like life in prison.
Yeah.
All things should be balanced, I do think, and taken into consideration.
Well,
But
the
generally, that's up to the judge, you know.
the
Uh,
death sentence, we'd abolished the death sentence by then, so
yeah, okay.
they could only get life, and they got life. But anyway, that's a
Lemon
different thing.
Pie says, I agree, Glenn Fleming. Misspelled your name, I think. Two N's in Glenn, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes people are evil without something to
Yeah.
point to in their past as a choice.
I
It's a
think
choice.
we're all
Yeah.
capable of doing evil
They have.
things like killing somebody or whatever, but we don't all do that, do we?
Yeah. Hen said she was a psychopath. Yeah.
She was, yeah.
A psychopath, you really cannot judge by their criminally insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
You really cannot judge by your logic standards, can you? Because their brain chemistry, a psychopathic,
Well, she
uh,
didn't think she was doing anything wrong, did she?
right.
And if she did, she got a kick out of it. So that's sick as
Yeah,
well, isn't it?
it was a thrill. Yeah. She probably got a dopamine rush from it.
Exactly, TJ. Exactly. She could have got. There's still a lad called Keith out there. He's still out there. Nobody knows where he is. The two fuckers are dead now. And his mother, Keith's mother, went to her grave, and they could have told her where he was to bury him, and they didn't do it. Now that is evil. We'll probably never find him, but they knew obviously because they did it. But anyway,
Well, as you probably know, Doc Blaylock, and it was kind of his suggestion, and he asked if I had any, you know, kind of killer characters, and it turned out I did. I created one that was sort of a serial killer clown. I called him Clown Killer, which works out great, you know, for my story. And he's kind of a psychotic that preys on children. And it was interesting when I was describing that story and showing the art that Doc had done, which is off at the printers right now being scanned and stuff. Um, they sort of closely akin that if you prey on children, he must be a pedophile. And I was like, well, there's no pedophilia ever really alluded to in the story. It's just that he's a psychotic killer and that he
Well, this
his
is what I was saying
victims
to
are
you earlier,
children.
that people think you've got to explain everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to explain, or you shouldn't have to. This is
Yeah.
why people like Alfred Hitchcock was so good at films. People think Alfred Hitchcock made horror films. He didn't. He made suspense films, and he used to make suspense. He used to create suspense and tension, but he didn't explain all of it. He just did it. You didn't need to know
Yeah.
much of a background,
Yeah.
and all that kind of thing.
Now,
Because
what do you say? I know Dillard has come on here and he says, nobody knows you, Glenn. Nobody knows you, Rex. You need to tell them just about everything about your story, or now I don't pretend. I've been trying to understand exactly what he's saying, about promotion and grasp what he's saying about how you promote your project, how you promote yourself.
yeah.
But I don't want to tell everything. And I think most people come into it, they want a little mystery.
I'm not quite sure what he means, because he knows who we are. How does he know who?
Yeah.
But anyway, let me show you this. Here's another drawing of his hatch, and he just lives in there.
Wow. It looks like he has a fez on his hat.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I showed that to Brian Morris. This was done before I knew Brian, so
yeah.
But it's just little sketches of him. He changes all the time, and over the years.
What type of paper is that? And that's obviously out of spiral notebook.
Yeah, it's just cartridge paper.
Well, what is cartridge paper? See, your British terms are lost on me.
Drawing paper.
Drawing paper. Okay, yeah. Sketch paper. Okay. Yeah. And you're doing the coloring on those and color pencils.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's because I don't want colored inks when I'm in the kitchen or in the dining room, so I just use colored pencils on them. They're just sketches.
And that might buckle a little bit, right? If you really got it watery.
Well, what I tend to do, if I'm doing that, I stretch it so it doesn't buckle.
Okay.
You wet the paper and then put this sticky stuff on and stretch it. And then you can paint on that and it won't buckle.
But in those sketchbooks, you're not able to do that, right?
No, that's why I use color pencil.
Right. But now, is that your illustration board that you're stretching? Or is that just when you work on paper?
That's cartridge paper.
Okay.
Literally thin paper.
So you work on paper and that illustration board.
Yeah, but mainly I use the board, which is that thick.
Yeah, because you told me you bought a bunch of that at one time.
Oh, yeah, I did. My local supplier was closing down.
Yeah.
So I went around and they took me into the back, and they had all this artboard. And I've shown you a photograph, haven't I? It's about 2 or 3 feet high, and there's I don't know how many sheets of board were there, but they should have all. There's about, I don't know, there must be about 60, 70 boards there, and each one should have been £8, about $6, and I got the lot for £35.
Wow.
Which is about $40. So I don't think I'll ever have to buy any again. I've got tons of the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm real envious. I mean, I'd love to try that stuff. I really like when I paint to paint on a hard surface, probably more so on a masonite than like a canvas. But I do enjoy both. I really do. Every time I do get a masonite, piece of masonite, which is not that often, I really enjoy painting on that hard surface.
Well, what about 10 years ago, Helen and I had an art exhibition, and we mainly paintings. We had a lot of her ceramics, but she paints as well, oil painting and stuff, and acrylics. And we made our own canvases. We got the wood, we mitered it, we stuck it together, we stretched the canvas on it, we gessoed it. We did the whole thing. So the whole and we sold several of those paintings. So you get the whole thing. We did the whole thing. We made the frames, stretched it, and all that, and then you painted on it, and you got the whole story. And that's what we like to do. We like to do the whole thing, because anybody can just go and buy some canvases.
So, I mean, pretty much all the stories you work are like one and done, and they're all complete in themselves, and then you go into a new adventure.
Yeah.
What there's no overarching story except that the story of his life.
Yeah, what I'm going to do in the future, though, after this book 2 is out, book 2 is just one story, but I'm going to do for the next ones. I'm going to do it in 5 or 6 page episodes. Different ideas, because I've got so many
you were
ideas.
really wanting to put it in strip, right?
Yeah. The original.
You really
idea,
want to be a daily strip artist.
Yeah, that was the original intention. That's why there's strip cartoons like these.
Well, back in the day, that's where the money was, Glenn.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it was.
Is that
then,
what you were chasing the money? Is that it?
Yeah. Because
you just without hesitation.
Who doesn't want any money? Who doesn't? Do you know? I've noticed. In my life, I've noticed the only people who tell me you don't need money are the ones who've got it.
Yeah. Oh, I got into a discussion just last night. I said all art is commercial art.
Of course,
and they're like they'd never considered that. They're like, oh no. Look, I understand. I created many paintings with it in mind that I'm doing this for me, and I'll probably be the only one to see it. I'll probably be the only one to store it. But eventually, I'm going to die, and they're going to go, look at this crap. Let's try and sell it.
See, the only true artist will be the guy. The true artist will be the guy who nobody knew he did art, and when he dies, he has 1,000 paintings in the loft. But I don't want to sell any of my work, but I do like to eat.
Yes.
So I found that it helps me grow. So if I didn't need to eat, I wouldn't sell it.
Yeah.
But I'm figuring now, you see, that when I die, I've got tons of artwork, not just Hatch. I've got tons of artwork, and whoever gets it is either going to sell it and make a load of money, or throw it in the bin. So I'm thinking I'm going to try and sell it so I can get that nicer piece of steak to eat, or get on that aeroplane and go to Peru.
Yeah. Now there are artists like Walt Simonson that I assume that you know who he is.
I've met him. Yeah.
Did Thor and other things for Marvel and worked for DC as well and others, but he has nearly everything that I think
I've heard.
But I'm like, what are you saving it for? Is it like your wife?
He told me he was keeping it to put his kids through college, but I would have thought his kids were through college by now, because that was in the 80s.
I'm sure they are. Yeah,
but that was in the 80s. But
I guess he didn't need it, so he still. I mean,
right,
when that horde hits the market, you got to wonder if his stuff is. I mean, there's going to be such a flood of stuff at one time. It's not going to go for primo price.
You see, let me just say that Walt Simon is a really, really nice bloke.
Yeah,
I met him, and he's a really nice fella as well. He's a great artist, and it's a nice.
What other famous people have you met, Glenn?
Oh, I've interviewed men who walked on the moon. I've met Elton John. I met a few other rock stars. Saw the Queen a few times. I didn't meet her, but I saw her a few times. Lots of people.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the one that really sent a thrill up my leg, to use an old expression, well, maybe not that old, was Adam West. And
I got to
talk to him for about 10 minutes.
Oh, brilliant. What a guy. What a guy, yeah.
And nobody else around, just.
Yeah. That's what I did with Walt Simonson and Jack Kirby, obviously, but that's what I did with Walt Simonson. Nobody else was around. And Will Eisner. Talked to Will Eisner as well.
Yeah, I mean, I got to meet Stan Lee, but it was very brief.
Yeah, I could have done that, but I passed on that one.
Yeah. Well, the one person I did pass on was Vincent Price, that I regret.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he came here to town and performed, and could have met him. That was in '87, so a few years, maybe 5 or so years before his death.
Yeah.
But I regret not doing that. Just being lazy, procrastination.
We've got 5 minutes left.
Okay. So what else you want to say? You got the whole floor for 5 minutes.
Just, I'm. Just watch out for this Indiegogo. I'm gonna go all over these social media things again when it's finally there. I'm just getting the campaign ready now.
Right.
Hey, what's up?
They're joining us from Twitch.
All right.
Yeah, if you come in next time, I'll rent you on YouTube.
So yeah, I'm just
going to Carrie Fisher. Blue Harvest met Carrie Fisher.
Great, yeah, lovely.
I know a few people that would be, envious of that.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah, I should always ask that question because it's amazing what answers you'll get. What quote famous people have you met in your lifetime? I was unaware that you'd met Elton John.
Only briefly. I didn't really get a chance to speak to him. He was just
only briefly for me with Stan Lee, but
yeah.
And then I've went to concerts too. I guess you have to count those. Tina Turner was probably she sang 20 songs, went through 5 costume changes, and yeah, I mean, it was a sold out show. I sat all the way to the back of the Coliseum, all the way up in nosebleed section, and had a wonderful time.
I saw her in concert. Yeah, she was good.
She really gave her all, That was a year or two after Thunderdome came out when she was acting.
TJ wants to know how to buy the book, the first one. It's on Amazon. If you put my name in Amazon, TJ will find it. Yeah, thanks, Kerry.
Yeah.
I got magazines and all sorts of stuff in there. I published about 10 books, different subjects, and the first Hatch is on there. I have to tell you, the second one is the art is far superior.
Well, what's going on in the world today? Has that influenced Hatch on your message whatsoever?
I try and keep I don't try and get into that sort of stuff. I try and keep it lighthearted. So I did do that drawing of him with the guardsman outfit on for the Queen's funeral. Did you see that one?
No, I don't think I did.
I'll send it to you, and that's the
I think you did. I did think you did flash that up once. Yeah.
So, but I keep out of that really because it's not a good idea really.
Yeah, Matchbox kind of started like that, didn't they? They did a Queen's Carriage early on in the 50s.
No idea. The next day is the first one. Yeah, that's right, TJ. Yeah, the next day.
Yeah.
Right, we better wrap it up. I've got to go and get my wife.
That's right, and tell her I said hi if you would. And I will. Rex, who? What the heck?
No. She knows who you are.
Oh, well, I apologize for that up front. Tell her I'm sorry about that.
Thank you for having me on. But we'll do it again. But I just wanted to thanks for letting me come on and just share these things and keep everybody updated.
Sorry for the mix-up with the time. I have contacted. Just to let you know, I have contacted Steve Rude to try and get you two together to talk about your experiences with Jack Kirby. And so I hope to be able to set that up here pretty soon. And we will make it at a more convenient time for you and him. And hopefully you won't be in the back room for a whole hour before I even show up.
I wasn't in the back room for a whole hour. I worked that one out. But anyway.
Smart man. He worked it out.
Yeah.
Or the heck's wreck. Okay. Well, thank you, Glenn, for coming on, and have a great day.
And you as well. Thanks everybody, and I'll talk to you soon. Got to shoot. Thanks a lot.
Bow. Well, thanks for showing up, everyone. The lovely TJ, a work in progress, aren't we all? Carrie, the great link drink, and so much more. Dropper. And Diggs joining us from Twitch. Of course, Blue Harvest. Definitely check his content out, especially if you like toys, 3D printing, all types of stuff, knowledge about collectibles, Ice Queen, and Hen. And yeah, big announcement, 4,065 watch hours, and that's not even counting this broadcast. Breaking 4,000 on our way to monetization. Now I just have to get the subscribers. The wonderful Hex Allen was in here. Appreciate that. And Lemon Pie, I believe, was the first in here, and then bowed out for a little bit and then came back, which is, people do. Um, I think that was it. Oh, Shadowhawk, my co-host, he'll be on with me at 4 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Eastern time, as you well know. And if you don't by now, well, Lord help you. But yeah, thank you for showing up, and hope you enjoyed a little talk with Glenn Fleming. We'll have him back on, of course. Usually we do Doctor Who Tuesday, but as you may know, Texas Day Houston, who's also in the UK, is taking a holiday for a couple weeks in Peru. Yeah, 10 p.m. UK time. Yeah, that's right. Every day. So about bedtime, people watch me in bed. That's kind of freaky. But anyway, uh, sometimes like Ice Queen, I can get them out of bed to come on the show. Coffee? Yeah, I'm going to get another cup of coffee here in just a little bit and stream, like I say, as Blue Harvest says, at 10 p.m. UK time. So 4 o'clock my time. Don't have to work today. So there is that. Blue Harvest may stream and Great Crash. That would be great. Yeah, you can stream, in between this broadcast and the next. Yeah, and then come on in. Yeah, often he's going when I start. I do he was probably doing his show before I was doing mine. I know I'm not the most convenient time for a lot of people, uh, but it is what it is. Uh, I've been trying to stream earlier for the UK, uh, and if I've got the time, I'll stream at any time that I feel like it. Now if there's shows, I don't want to overstream on anybody, and I may go on a lot of those shows. I'm looking forward to being able to go on Tuesday nights on Jason Bascom's or Luke's channel and doing topic lists again. Sometimes on Thursdays on Lorenzo Sleestack's show. Fridays, definitely Red Valkyrie show. And then, of course, I've been able to, through my work week, do interviews and other things with Apex Comics on Saturday at midnight, which is really early Sunday morning. And a few other odd times that we've set up and done interviews on that show. So I was fortunate to be that fell on the weekend. I was able to do that and met a lot of people that I over there on his show that I can bring over here and interview as well. Meeting people like Horror Mike. Yesterday we did Horror Mike Monday, which has kind of become a thing. He's a great interview, as far as horror knowledge, but man, collectible knowledge too. That guy knows his collectibles. Some obscure, and his fandom and the history of the pre-code stuff. I mean, he's got books on that, and a lot of the archives, appreciates the Golden Age art as well as I do. My Devil Flyer story, written or drawn by my friend John, has been compared to Golden Age, and I never really considered that. It's just always, I've known John since 1982. We tried to work before together. We never really quite got anything done. But we finally did, and it was called Devil Flyer, 29 pages of Devil Flyer. Plus, there's a few other things that he developed and did for me that'll be shown. Uh, you would be welcome on mine anytime, Rex. Thank you, Hen. Yes, I would like you to drop me a link sometime. I know sometimes I overstream Hen's show. It's still going. And she's the reason sometimes I don't get some guests that I'd like to give on But I did get Fanta on today, earlier on. That girl was up some kind of early today, and we're glad to have her back. Thank you, Hen, for hosting her, and Margot and TJ and all of you people for taking good care of Phantasmagorical. Well, I see we just hit the hour mark. That's decent. Got 10 watchers. Hate to shut it down, but you'll just have to come back for the 4 o'clock shadow, which I do have. Need to shave that stubble so you can see my handsome face. Huh? Oh, well, before I get in trouble, keep collecting.